All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube. Is Pastor Dowell. Let me start off an open statement right here. If you pick this hill to die on, it's obvious that when you're getting into a relationship with someone, all right, and given the fragmentation of not only just the female side, but the male side as well, both of them, what we're lacking in today, the time and hour we're living in, is the younger generation
turn right to merge onto I-75 south
submitting themselves to the older generation, the ones that you can find wisdom in. And people just simply not interested in that. They're not interested in sound counsel. They're not interested in sound judgment. They're not interested in anyone who you can literally see an example from and say that these are wise people. They don't want to hear from them. It's kind of like the Absalom spirit. You know, everybody wants to hear from people around their age group to tell them what they want to hear, rather than actually dealing with the older people that will tell them what they need to hear. And so when you have a young man that hasn't been taught by a man that is a father or a father figure in how not only to live life, do life, and then you have a young woman whose mothers won't even pour into them. And then the majority of the time in our society right here, and it's a sad thing to actually say this, but it's a reality, little girls that are born usually don't stand a snowball chance in hell before making it to 18 that they end up being molested by some family member, be it their father, their uncle, their brother, cousins, or whatever. It's a sad situation. And then they end up going into a shell, and too many times, more often than not, they end up becoming promiscuous, and they end up looking for love in all the wrong places, getting fragmented. And I talk about this all the time, and nobody don't want to hear me say it too much, but I've been saying it for over 20-something years. That whenever a woman allows a man to insert his DNA in her, she is changed. Her whole composition is changed. For the rest of her days, it is. And the only thing I can see that has the answer to actually help a woman to become new again is meeting the conditions of the scriptures. And I know many of you don't want to hear that or see that, but there is something to purging and repentance. It really, really, truly is. And most of you, since you don't want Yah in your life at all, you have no choice but to go to the psychiatrist, the psychotics, or whatever you call it is, and take their drugs and just literally just deal with life as is. But when you've got all this lewdness that's going on both sides, both male and female, you got men jacking up females, you got women jacking themselves up with male and female, and then you got homosexuality on the rise and Galens all over the place, and now we live in a generation to where people don't even see that there's nothing wrong with it. Matter of fact, I heard the other day, it came to my ears, and the parents pull their children out of public school, that in elementary, they were actually teaching the boys that there's nothing wrong for a boy to have another boy as a boyfriend as he would have a girlfriend. So the people I'm surrounded with and know, when they get something like that, hear something like that, they make the sacrifice then. They pull their children out of their school, they start homeschooling, mother comes immediately off the job, and I've seen dads even just go and get 2 jobs because they don't want their children raised around that type of environment. Well, this is where we at today. So, it ain't that you don't have examples. You've got examples. It's just that you don't want the examples that's going to tell you the inconvenient truth. Humility is a virtue that needs to go forward in the day and the time now we live in. Because I teach a lot of young men how to be men. And even at that, I got many of them that try to go under, that try to go around, that try to manipulate They try to coerce, they try to sneak, they try to slide, they try to do everything they can, thinking that they are wiser than those of us who've already been there in their age gap. There ain't nothing new under the sun. Your tactics, your deceptions, your undermining, your communication, and your ways, we done been there, done it, done seen it before. There ain't nothing new. And me, especially me as a pastor, there ain't too many of you sneaky, conniving men out there that you gonna get past me that I don't know the game that you trying to pull and what you doing. It's just that it's your first rodeo and you think that I don't see it. That's the problem right there. But if we could get the younger generation to submit to the people that are older, that literally truly have a track record in front of them that could help them, man, I'm not going to say we're going to stop the bleeding all the way, but we sure could raise up a nation, as small as it may be. We sure could raise up a nation, a set apart people that could actually bring back. It can actually bring back what we call over and over again the family home. I'm talking about a real true family home. To where the father's in his role, the mother's in her role, because both of them have repented, both of them have purged themselves from all the iniquities of the world, and they're being responsible individuals. They truly care about their children. I tell you, this is sick nowadays. It's just totally sick nowadays. What is presented to the eyes and the ears of children by the time they're 3 and 4 and 5 years old is just utterly sick. But young generation, you're going to have to submit to them that are older, that actually truly care about your plight. And you're going to have to put yourself in a position of humility if you're going to learn anything, so we can stop all of this wickedness and all this iniquity that's going on. That's just a fact. I hope I said something to stimulate thought. Who knows? I probably just rambled on, didn't make no sense. But at least one thing, if I didn't make no sense to nobody else, I at least made sense to myself.